You climb into bed, turn off the lights, and instead of drifting to sleep, your mind starts building a completely different life. You might spend the next hour perfectly delivering a comeback for an argument you lost 3 years ago, or find yourself on a perfect first date with a celebrity. Hours can pass inside these imaginary worlds, despite none of them being real. It raises a strange biological question. Considering how many hours humanity collectively loses to these fictional simulations every night, why does the brain dedicate so much energy to running them? The hashtag #FakeScenarios has generated over 300 million views on social media, with millions of people comparing the specific stories they tell themselves in the dark. This massive digital footprint reveals the scale of a pervasive quirk of the human mind, one that seems to cross cultures and age groups. The engine behind this experience is a neurological web called the Default Mode Network, or DMN. When you are focused on the task, this network stays quiet. But the moment you stop focusing, when the external data streams of work and conversation fade away, the DMN boots up. It is the brain's natural idle state. Far from being inactive, the DMN is a biological storyteller. It immediately begins grabbing fragments of memory, pairing them with your current emotional state, and projecting them into potential future possibilities to construct a coherent narrative. This mental wandering is an active processing mechanism. The brain is sorting through data, testing outcomes, and attempting to make sense of your reality before you drift off. During our waking hours, this storytelling network acts as a cognitive flight simulator. If you are nervous about an upcoming job interview or asking for a raise, your mind automatically runs through the conversation multiple times. By mentally rehearsing these events, you can explore potential outcomes and practice your responses in a low-stakes environment. Anticipating obstacles and testing solutions before they happen helps build real-world confidence. The simulator also serves as an emotional sandbox. If you are angry with someone, imagining a confrontational argument allows you to vent that frustration and process the feelings safely, without any real-world consequences. The same mechanism drives wish fulfillment. Constructing an idealized future, like winning an award or achieving a major milestone, acts as a mental vision board. These daydreams generate the positive emotions and motivation needed to sustain effort during difficult periods. By testing social responses, processing difficult emotions, and generating psychological momentum, mental simulation serves as a vital tool for navigating daily life. However, this processing usually reaches its peak right when you try to sleep. In a dark, quiet bedroom, you are stripped of sensory input. Without external distractions demanding your attention, the inner storyteller gets the microphone all to itself. Clinical sleep therapists have figured out how to intentionally harness this. In cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, or CBTI, psychologists actually prescribe these fake scenarios as a medical tool to quiet the mind. The technique involves building a highly detailed, sensory-rich story. By forcing the brain to imagine the specific sights, sounds, and physical feelings of a pleasant environment, the patient distracts their mind from the real-world worries that keep them awake. For instance, some clients are encouraged to visualize the physical sensation of cycling the grueling, beautiful route of the Tour de France. By filling the mind with the intense details of a complex physical challenge, the brain eventually exhausts its processing power and drifts into sleep. Long before modern sleep science, spiritual frameworks were utilizing these same imaginative mechanisms. Look at the table of contents from this text on spiritual awakening, which emphasizes concepts like Kundalini and Sakic empaths. Further down the list, we see dedicated entries for deep sleep techniques and awareness therapy. These practices intuitively applied the same solution found in modern psychology, using guided visual narratives to regulate the nervous system. Whether it is framed as a psychic meditation or a clinical exercise, actively directing your inner storyteller provides a biologically grounded method for taking control of your state of rest. But there is a distinct danger to housing a powerful simulation engine inside your head. The exact protocol that helps us prepare for the future can also turn against us if it runs out of control. Psychologists call this catastrophizing. It is the anxious brain's misguided attempt to protect you by obsessively imagining the worst creates a severe biological backlash. Because your brain struggles to distinguish a vividly imagined threat from a real one, these negative scenarios flood your body with cortisol and adrenaline. This physical reaction then reinforces the anxious thought patterns, locking the brain into a state of high alert. When we lose conscious control of the narrative, the tool designed to protect us becomes an engine for panic. In extreme cases, this mental escape becomes a behavioral addiction. In 2002, Dr. Eli Sommer identified maladaptive daydreaming, a condition where individuals spend hours every day immersed in complex, vivid fantasies that eventually replace their human interactions. This psychological extreme has a long cultural history. Author James Thurber, pictured here, explored this in his 1939 story, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which focused on a character consumed by heroic fantasies. Today, we see this same impulse in online phenomena like reality shifting. For those experiencing this, the fictional world feels more rewarding than reality. The mental simulation acts as a coping mechanism to shield the mind from trauma, depression, or profound loneliness. This capacity for mental simulation remains the same engine that allows an author to live with their characters before writing a word, or an architect to walk through halls that only exist in their mind. It is a fundamental tool for planning and invention. If you find your mind caught in unproductive loops, you can implement psychological tools to regain control. You can schedule a specific 15-minute window of worry time to contain your anxieties, or use physical grounding exercises, like cooking or walking, to pull your brain out of the simulation and back into your senses. By understanding the biology of the default mode network, you no longer have to be a captive audience to your thoughts. You can step up, take the script, and become the intentional director of your mind's private cinema.